Welcome to that handicapping show. I'm Pete Dank, and I'm joined again this week by Frank Angst. We're going to be looking at the Hollywood Starlet Stakes. That's a 2-year-old filly race at Hollywood Park, going a mile and 16th on the cushion track. Frank, we've got a big returning filly from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and that's Executiveprivilege. I think a fair amount of people think she's the best 2-year-old filly in America. I was one of them. She didn't quite run like it in the Breeders' Cup when she could not get by Beholder, who ran a really fast race in the front end, but Executiveprivilege had dead aim on her, couldn't get by, and drifted out really badly in the stretch. It was a little bit of a puzzling effort.
Yes, I'm convinced there was quite a bit of a speed inside bias so that weekend at Breeders' Cup, and that race was really the race that got me thinking along those lines, because when she angles out to try to go by Beholder, you just see her fail to really grip the track, and I even see the horse trying different lanes. It was actually a very impressive effort by Executiveprivilege, I thought, and that she was trying to find a surface that she liked but couldn't quite do it and couldn't get by the winner. But now she's returning to a cushion track at Hollywood where she's 2 for 2. She's 4 for 4 on the synthetics. I don't anticipate any type of bias like we saw on Breeders' Cup weekend. And I have a hard time going against her. She has to be my pick on top to bounce back and win this race. I guess one other thing you could look at is she didn't race on Lasix at Breeders' Cup. So maybe some people are thinking, maybe she got that in that stretch and didn't have the same punch or was having some breathing problems. Whatever reason of going off Lasix, she will race without Lasix again in this race, which is kind of interesting. So I suspect that's not what the connections thought was the problem. So that, to me, that's kind of a good sign. I thoroughly think it was on the track that she didn't handle that day against the bias at Santa Anita, so I like her to bounce back here.
I have been in this filly's corner all year. I did think she was the best 2-year-old filly in the country, but I have some questions about that race. Notice that Bob Baffert goes blinkers on here, and they're switching riders. So I think Baffert is looking for some answers here, trying to get her to run as good as he thinks she can run. And she did foreshadow that defeat with a couple of subpar workouts for her leading up to the Breeders' Cup. And, a lot of time when a horse bears out, you worry about physical problems. With Executiveprivilege, I kind of got the feeling it might be mental. Sometimes we see these dominant fillies, they just sour a little bit on training. They start kind of doing what they want to do instead of making winning the race their #1 goal. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see which Executiveprivilege we see here. Does she revert to the really powerful presence and really fast filly that we saw in those first few races, or is she headed the other way? I love her, but I think I'm going to take a shot against her here just because I assume she's going to be even money or less. A few interesting horses. Let's talk about Pure Fun. This one exploded going 1 mile on the dirt at Churchill Downs on November 24th, so this is just a 2-week break. I doubt this trip has been in the works for too long, and she did jump up to a big number. Do you think Pure Fun can ship out west?
It's a pretty aggressive move to ship all the way across, from Kentucky out to California. But that was her best race that she ran on the Churchill dirt. She had been running largely on turf and did all right there. So I guess Ken McPeak's thinking, hey, we'll take a shot at the cushion track as well while she's hot.
Yeah.
And a chance to win a Grade 1 as a 2-year-old, of course, is a big prize there.
Yeah, I see why they're going for it. To me, it's back a little bit too quick and too big of a ship for me off of a big jump up. The 3 fillies that ran 1, 2, 3 in the Sharp Cat Stakes at Hollywood on November 11th, that's Midnight Ballet, Renee's Titan, and Scarlet Strike. I think all of them have some appeal, but all of them would have to get it quite a bit faster to win this race probably.
That's what I think. I took it as a positive that Scarlet Strike was a little bit closer to the pace in the previous race than she had been. She had really been a one-move closer type horse. And in this race, she was up closer. She was 4th, only 3 lengths out at first call, which I always like when a horse seems to have learned something new. And I suspect maybe she can improve off of that effort.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Scarlet Strike's been in my stable mail since her 2nd place finish at Del Mar, and I like the development. Not only did she try a new thing last time in stalking the pace, I thought Talamo moved her a little early in that race, and she was put under a drive between horses. I think she can move forward off that race, and I noticed that she came back and posted a bullet work just 8 days off that performance. So.
And I know you had some positive notes on Midnight Ballet. Julian Leperoux out on the West Coast and staying out there for at least a while. We've seen in Kentucky what he can do on the synthetic tracks. I would think that's a big plus for this filly.
Yeah, I loved Midnight Ballet's debut win at Del Mar. That was sprinting. She was down 9 or 10 lengths at the stretch call, and she just ran down a horse. Looked great. Her first against winners was nothing to write home about. She got dusted by Beholder when that one tried dirt at Santa Anita. But Midnight Ballet got back on track last time with a stretch running win in the Sharp Cat. She got bumped at the start of that race. Leparoux yanked her back again on the first turn, and she still came with a winning rally. So I kind of see her as the other one with upside here coming out of the Sharp Cat.
And
so
the other horse Bob Baffert has in here is definitely dangerous. Blonde Fog ran a huge race first time out.
Yep.
Usually the 2-year-old fillies, 2-year-old colts, if they're talented, they will usually show it in short order, and she certainly did. I think she has a possibility of going 2 for 2 here, but I'm actually leaning towards a Bob Baffert double of Executive Privilege over Blonde Fog.
All right, and I'm on a price hunt looking to key on Scarlet Strike and maybe a little Midnight Ballet. That's that handicapping show for the week. We thank Briss for the past performances, and good luck at the track this weekend.